Hare Krishna. Uh, I have a question here by Aravinda. I'm just looking down because I'm looking at it on the computer. It's sort of a lengthy question. Uh, before before I don't answer it, because I'm not going to answer exactly what he asks, but I'm going to speak to what I believe is really the root of his question. Uh, yes, on Sunday, you can expect that we'll be doing questions and answers on Shikshashtakam. So if you have some questions, please send them in. And uh, and tomorrow we'll be sending some other, uh, putting up some other podcasts, which hasn't yet been viewed. In other words, I won't be doing a podcast tomorrow because I'll be too busy uh, at a very large social distance with some guests over here. It's our fair, very hectic weekend. New Brajadam is really like it usually is every year, but without the problem of this threat of this virus. It's really geared and set up to meet lots of guests. And it's cloudy outside, and it's been raining up to now, which could be very good. Too good weather is not good to bring in crowds, and too bad weather is not good. It has to be just right, tatashta. Okay, now what am I not going to answer on Aravind? Well, he's asking, he says, ideally spouses should have the same nature. I'm not going to read it because it's about a 7-line question. And he says, but that's not always possible, and the man should be higher than the woman. But what happens if the woman's higher than the man? How does that influence the children? And what can we do about it? And so for me, this is theory. You want the answers, they're there in the Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada writes a lot about it. They're there in other Dharma Shastra like Manu and Yajnavalkya and so on. So it's theory, it's philosophy that's available, but we're so far away from the theory. We don't have well-defined natures. We don't have well-defined varnas. And therefore, to start to try and apply the ideal immediately doesn't work. We're looking for compatibility when it comes to spouses, husband and wife, and that compatibility you can often determine with astrology. It can be a very good tool for that. And over and beyond the compatibility in astrology is a general idea, because natures are really mixed. So it's not black and white. Who is of what varna? But still, people have inclinations. And of course, inclinations are those that should be checked with others. But if someone has inclination, yeah, I want to do business, okay, he's a Vaishya. Someone has, inclination, I want to manage, okay, let's say he's a Kshatriya, and someone wants to build buildings and so on, okay, then he's in the service of the Shudra. But in any case, what are the particular rules? What are the guidelines of conduct and responsibility that Bhagavatam and Shastra gives for these kinds of devotees? And once we assume that, by adopting that type of conduct, it starts to actually fine-tune and focus our natures. Our natures become sort of crystallized in the vice of proper conduct. And when that proper conduct is there, then of course, certainly proper conduct also, not just in Varna, but also in Ashram. When that proper conduct is there, then things work. Relationships work. They work better. Okay, nothing's 100% guaranteed. They work better, They're much more reasonable. And in the next generation, the varna, the nature, becomes much more clear. It becomes much more focused, much more black and white and pronounced. It becomes very clear who's what. And as we have successive generations of devotees like that, then you can start applying that principle. Otherwise, what was Srila Prabhupada's overarching principle? Be Krishna conscious. Krishna consciousness can transcend all the incompatibilities that are there. But at the same time, Prabhupada did write very clearly in his books about the conduct that devotees were meant to follow and to adopt. So while we follow that conduct, we should practice Krishna consciousness, be very good in our Krishna consciousness, and have faith that the strength of sadhana will help us bridge differences of nature, differences of opinion, the difficulties that come along with people living very closely together, very, very difficult. It can make it work. And as time goes on, then we'll be able to actually apply these principles of varnashram. In the meantime, we're doing the needful, but we need to go in a direction. And for me, that's always been the whole issue with varnashram. Fine, we don't have varnashram now, but it's the mission that Srila Prabhupada set out for us. So we need to go down that track. And when we do, as we progress along there, these principles, these theoretical principles, become more and more of a living reality. Hare Krishna. I hope Aravinda doesn't mind that I didn't answer all of his questions, but I think that I got to the relevant root of it, and that's relevant for us today. Hare Krishna, everyone. See you again.